So I'm here with the author of The Men Who Stare at Goats, now a major motion picture, which is the Times Gala screening at the London Film Festival, Jon Ronson. Welcome to Screenjabber.
Hello.
So I was surprised after I saw the film, because I was not familiar with the book. I apologise, I will read it now. But I was surprised after seeing the film to find out it was based on a non-fiction book.
Yeah, it's a true story.
The US Army are really doing these psychic experiments.
Oh yeah, yeah. They spent a lot of money and put a lot of time into training soldiers to become invisible, which after a while they downgraded to just trying to find a way of not being seen.
It reminds me of that Monty Python sketch, How Not to Be Seen.
Yeah, hiding behind a bush.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, sparkly eyes and passing through objects. All of these things, including a whole load of non-lethal weapons, like the gay bomb, which would drop on the enemy and turn the enemy gay, and then
because genetics has nothing to do with it.
Right, it was a pheromone, and then they'd also drop a halitosis bomb on the enemy, so the enemy would be simultaneously attracted and repelled to one another, and in the confusion the Americans would come in and win. So I just thought it would be funny and interesting to kind of uncover as many of these things as possible.
The question, of course, is how did you first come across this? Because I'm sure the US Army weren't going around advertising that they're doing this.
No. Well, there was a few things. How long can my answer be?
A couple of minutes.
Okay. Well, firstly, after 9/11, I met Uri Geller. You know Uri Geller?
Yes.
And he'd always claimed to have been a secret psychic spy working for the CIA. No one believed him because they thought the CIA were too wise to do that. But he was telling the truth. Well, he was telling the truth to the extent that the CIA tested him to see how good a psychic he was. Because I met the CIA people who tested him, so I know that's true. Anyway, after 9/11, I thought it would be interesting to talk to him. And so I met him and I said, so tell me about your secret psychic spying days. And Uri said, I won't talk about it. And I said, Uri, you talk about it all the time. He said, I never talk about it. And I said, Uri, I said, I've got a file an inch thick of you telling Woman's Own, you telling, every 2-bit newspaper in the world. Why aren't you telling me? And then finally he said, okay, if you repeat what I'm about to tell you, I will deny it. And I said, okay. And he said, I've been reactivated. So, and in fact in the movie George Clooney says, I've been reactivated. Yeah. That's the only bit of Uri Geller in the movie, just that line. So I went off on a journey to try and find out if that was true, and along the way I discovered that not only did the psychic spies exist, which was known, that was already known, that there were these remote viewers, because that had been declassified in the mid-1990s. But what nobody else knew, and what really we found out for the first time, was that the psychic spies were a tip of the iceberg, and what was submerged was far weirder and more absurd, like trying to kill goats just by staring at them, and trying to pass through walls, and a number of other lunatic endeavours. So it was examining the Uri Geller claims that led me to all that weird stuff.
And of course you got a book out of it.
Yeah, I wrote The Men Who Stare at Goats in 2004. And
now there's a major film.
Yeah, it's about to come out.
And a very, very good film it is.
Well, thank you. I liked it. I wasn't involved in making it at all. I spent a couple of days on the set watching them film it. And I really liked Peter's script a lot. Did
you have a look at the script before they started shooting?
Oh yeah. I was one of the very first people to read the script. He sent it to me. He didn't want to involve me when he was writing it, which is completely understandable, I have to say, because in fact I've now written the script with him. This is a guy called Peter Strawn. He's a Brighton playwright, screenwriter, and I've written a film with him now which involves some real people, and I would not want them to be looking over my shoulder either. So I understand why he wanted to stay away from me. But as soon as he wrote it, he sent it to me, and I thought it was great. In fact, I received a few screenplays of different things of mine that had been optioned all at the same time. I received 3 in the space of about a month. And
like buses.
Right, after years of just, wondering if something as like that would ever happen to me. And Mike White had written, Matt Walsh wrote School of Rock, and The Good Girl wrote a screenplay based on another book of mine called Them. And then there was another screenplay based on a story I'd written. And Mike White's one I thought was terrific, and Peter's one was terrific, and the third one I thought was not great at all. And it really set me thinking about why some worked and others didn't, and that's what led me to trying to write screenplays myself. So I became friends with Peter afterwards, and then I stopped being involved for years because they were off. Paul Lister, the producer, was off trying to put it together as a film, and then when it came together, me and Peter visited the set in Puerto Rico, and then met them all again in Venice and Toronto last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's a dream cast. Clooney, Spacey, Bridges, McGregor, and they do all work so well together.
Yeah, they're all great, aren't they?
What surprised me about the film so much is how straight they play it. It's a very funny film, but the actors are playing it absolutely straight. They believe 100% in what they're doing.
I think that was definitely Graham Heslop's. I remember him saying it to me, that they don't know they're in a comedy.
Yeah,
and that was his big idea from the beginning, and absolutely right.
Yeah,
of course.
It works so well.
Yeah, I'm very glad that you think that.
Yeah, so your the first time you saw it, what did it feel like seeing something that you'd worked on for so long and so hard suddenly up there on the screen?
Well, I saw it in a screening with they put in a screening for Kevin Spacey, and so he turned up with like sort of 25 friends, and it was me, my wife, and son. But you know what? Because I liked the script so much, and I'd seen some rushes when I was in Puerto Rico, I wasn't particularly nervous. I just sort of sat down, and within about 3 minutes, you've got like a big smile on your face. There's a scene where you see video of a hamster falling over about 3 minutes into the film.
Yeah, where McGregor's character is talking to Stephen Root's character.
Yeah.
In his mother's house. Yes.
Yeah, and that's true. That happened
really?
to me. And, yeah.
So someone showed you video of the hamster.
Yeah, dying.
Over.
Although at the end of the video, he said this was a film of him staring his hamster to death. This is an old military guy, and he said if I came to Ohio, where he now runs a dance studio, I could watch the video of him staring his hamster to death. So I did. I went to Ohio, and he shows me this video where a hamster starts acting weirdly and then falls over. And then at the end of the video, the hamster gets up and brushes itself down and carries on eating. So it's inconclusive at best. But so it happened. But Stephen Root plays it so well that you just sit there with a big smile on your face. And in fact, I'm not sitting there I'm not sitting there thinking this happened to me. I can say that now, but I'm sitting there just as like a member of the audience thinking this is really funny. And from that moment on, I just relaxed and just enjoyed the film, and you watch the film with a big smile on your face.
Yeah. The what's interesting is afterwards walk out thinking, okay, we know the CIA and the military were doing this. Do you know if they're still doing it? Is this still going on?
Well, you certainly have inklings. The thing is, it went on in one shape or another. It's been going on since the 1970s, so I'd be very surprised if it isn't going on in some shape or form. But I've got no... Well, at the end of The Men Who Stare at Goats, one of the people in it tells me that it's all starting again.
Yeah, I'm sure that under the George W. Bush regime, yes, they'd... I wouldn't put anything past that lot.
Yeah, well, Donald Rumsfeld was kind of known as what's called an out-of-the-box thinker. And the head of the military, a guy called Pete Shoemaker, who was appointed by Rumsfeld to take charge of the war in Iraq, was also known as a big fan of this stuff, of the paranormal. So it would be very surprising if they weren't trying this stuff out.
All right, John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I hope the film is very successful.
Oh, well, I hope so too. Thank you.
Thank you.
And will we try and do the